Hi everyone, Sicx here, and today I'm going to do a quick video just kind of explaining kind of what's going on with my health at the moment. Now, so some of you have been following me on Twitter and Instagram have heard that I currently have Bell's palsy. Now, it's a condition where there's like slight damage to one of the nervous systems in the brain, essentially, that kind of controls your face. And at the moment I currently have paralysation on the left side of my face. So, and which is also quite odd because it also kind of affects the jaw, affects the eye, the ear, and part of the tongue. So it kind of feels like my face is numb, like I've been to the dentist, but I still can feel. I still have feeling in this side. It just won't move. So it's more frozen than numb. Now, what basically happens is it can just come out of nowhere. Now, I've had this for about 11 days now. I woke up two Thursday mornings ago. So yeah, about 11-12 days now, and literally woke up with this just frozen essentially. So obviously the first thing I did was sat up in bed. I raised my arms and I checked to see if I was slurring. I wasn't slurring too badly, and I was able to lift my arms above my head. So obviously I realised I didn't have a stroke whilst I was asleep. So I went to my doctors and I went to the hospital really, and essentially they just prescribed me some steroids and recommended I take vitamin B. So essentially what's happened is, as I said, I have no movement on this side. One of the issues I have at the moment, obviously, eating and drinking is quite tricky, because what winds up happening is if I chew on my left side, my food will kind of drop below my gum line, and I can't lift it on its own, so I have to push on my cheek essentially to push the food back in. When it comes to drinking, that's a bit tricky. What I have learnt is if I drink on the numb side, I have more control on the moving side. So if any of this does happen to you, one of the things I'd say is if you're drinking, or use the numb side to drink through, because that way you'll have control over any excess water that's liquid that's coming on the other side. Whilst obviously if you drink on your moving side and any liquid moves across, you won't be able to stop it. And unfortunately it does have that kind of, you do kind of have that feeling of, it is a bit embarrassing. For example, when I have cereal in the morning, I've got to make sure I've got a paper napkin next to me just so I can mop up my face. It is a bit embarrassing. Brushing your teeth is surprisingly tricky because you can't spit, which is also quite annoying. And this isn't a condition where this is actually it's a temporary condition. It can last between 3 to 6 weeks on average. It might last a couple months, and so at the moment I'm just kind of getting by. It's more of an inconvenience than anything else. It's just a bit of a pain in the arse. You don't want to have to keep, because you have to kind of watch what you eat and watch how you eat. So what I'm finding is that cutlery is definitely a lot easier. For example, I had pizza for dinner last night, so I wind up having to move my gums open just so I could put the food in my mouth, so I wouldn't bite on my lip, because the lips won't move either. And as I said, it is kind of it's an annoyance. It's quite embarrassing, if I'm honest. Now, so I've got no movement around my eye either. So what winds up happening is I can't close my left eye fully. So I can wink on that side, but it's quite a trick to do it on this side. So what I found is I put some across my eyes whilst I sleep, just to stop grit and stuff getting in. When I'm out during the day, I actually have a pair of just fake glasses really, just to stop wind, grit, dust, insects, you name it, because it's that typical thing where you don't realise how much you need to blink. And so, seeing as I can't close the sight properly, if I'm out and about, whilst I'm walking my dog or what have you, I put that on just to kind of stop any excess rubbish getting in my eye, because you instinctively try and close your eyes to if something's coming near it, but you can't close the sight fully. So that's kind of how I'm dealing with that at the moment. I'm also been prescribed some eye drops as well, just because once again I can't blink properly, so therefore I need to make sure I've got some form of moisture. You need just like standard eye drops, nothing like antibacterial or infection, because there's no infection in the eye, thankfully. So yeah, it should take a few. So basically, I'm looking at about a month, 2 months for it to fully clear. Obviously, I've been looking it up and talking to the gods of YouTube and finding out all sorts of different things. And so, I mean, I'm still currently working. Because you still need to. It's not debilitating in that regard. I still have movement in everything else. It's just my face. Some people have this condition. It sometimes can get worse before it gets better. Thankfully, I've been very lucky. It's pretty much stayed where it is for the last 12 days. So I've been quite fortunate in the fact that it's not spreading. It's just here. As it's quite annoying, but then I'm just kind of getting used to it as well. So as I said, like with eating and drinking, cutlery is easier. Drink on the numb side, and yeah, it's annoying, but I mean, I'm very happy it's temporary. I don't wish to, I wouldn't wish this sort of thing on anyone anyway. But it's not great, but it's manageable, which is something, and. So hopefully when all this goes away, I should be able to get some more stuff sorted. I do have some more plans for other projects and side projects in the future. I've been saying that for several years now, but I'll be having more free time during the day now, because as some of you know, I have an evening job and a part-time day job, as well as all the circus modelling and all the other bits I do as well. So I'm hoping to, in the next few months, get some more stuff sorted and obviously keep up to date with obviously try and keep up to date with what's going on at the moment. And yeah, so at the moment this is kind of what's happening with my Bell's palsy. So if you do wind up getting it yourself, I'm sorry. It's gonna take a while. It's not as bad as you think. It's manageable. It's not great to have. I mean, it's manageable. You can get by day to day. That worst case scenario, just get some tissue. Just make sure you just got some tissues for when you eat and drink. Really, outside of that, it's just it's just more inconvenient than anything else. As I said, hey, we have text and WhatsApp, so you don't have to worry about slurring over the phone. So for people, but overall, it's not the best condition in the world, but it's manageable. It's not as bad as it looks. It doesn't feel numb. There's no real movement, and occasionally I'm kind of getting a bit of aching there, but that's probably just because the muscle's not moving properly. And occasionally I'm getting some like muscle spasms, which I consider a good thing, because that just means the muscle is still able to move. It's just not at the moment. So obviously, I'll try and keep you up to date with what's going on with that, and yeah, and when this all blows over, I shall be back to doing shoots and try and get some more stuff for YouTube and my other side projects. So I shall bid you adieu, and you enjoy the rest of your weekend.